Well, good morning, good morning. Hello, welcome into the show today. It is August 19th, 2021, 8:49 in the morning. So glad you could be here today. Listen, if you're listening on the Spotify or the MP3 or whatever you're listening to and you're not seeing my face, that means you are listening to the podcast and you missed the live show, but that's okay. Make sure you check out the live show. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Sorry, my finger is jacked up. I dislocated it last week. The camera probably was like, what's wrong with this finger? Yeah, so make sure you check out the show when we're live. That way you can get in on the conversations, and when I ask questions, you can actually answer them live and on the spot. I can see the chat while we're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. So make sure you come in and hang out with us. It is Thursday, which means it's Friday Eve. Yes, Friday Eve. Tomorrow is Friday. So you're pretty much at the weekend. I don't know what day you might be listening to this on, but if you are watching live right now, you're almost to the weekend. Let's freaking go. You might be listening to this tomorrow, which would make it Friday, and you're already like, yo, bruh, it's Friday already. And I'm like, bet, let's go. Today's going to be a good day for me. As you guys know, if you don't know, I play football for a college in Southern California, Saddleback College. Right now we're ranked top 15, or we're ranked number 13 last I checked. I'm in the nation for all of junior college, so that's pretty exciting. But today we have an inter-squad scrimmage, 5 o'clock tonight. If you would like to go, we're going to be busting in the new stadium. It's an open scrimmage. Anybody can come watch. Shameless plug. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like I should be having a routine every time I go live, because when we started the show, we were doing a medal count every single day because the Olympics are going on, and I don't know what to do now. So I just kind of like mumble a little bit, I ramble a little bit, and then I kind of bring up the topic that we have for the day. I don't write scripts for this show. I don't usually even really know what I'm gonna talk about before I go live. A lot of times the live audience directs conversations, so sometimes I talk about different things. Today's topic, the title I have for today is who's actually for the lockdowns, or who's actually for lockdowns. I'm talking about COVID. You know, it started off as a joke, but there's a new variant again, called the Lambda, the Lambda variant. That's it. I don't know why you don't use a like military poetic. What is that called? Military. I cannot talk right now. Apparently. Let me start over. I don't know why that don't use the military phonetic alphabet or whatever you call it. You know, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot. You know, so it should be the Lima variant, but whatever. This whole Lambda variant is becoming an issue. So I guess we've just smoothed right through Delta variant. I don't really know if all these variants exist, but if they do, that is actually a good thing. Well, not really a good thing. I say it's not actually a good thing, but one thing with the study of history of virology is that anytime there is mutations, the virus never gets more deadly. The virus actually should become less deadly. So I don't really trust the data they're putting out about more people being in hospitals because of like unvaccinated people because of Delta variant. I'm not really trusting that data because that doesn't really make sense. There shouldn't be more deaths, and I believe the death rate is even getting lower. The death rate isn't high as it is anyways, just to be clear. It's less than 2% of all people. It's like around, what I did the math myself, it's around 1.7 people who get COVID die from it. That's not very many. And usually those people have comorbidity factors, meaning they're obese, they have cancer, something along those lines. Okay. I'm not trying to downplay people who have died from COVID. I'm just saying that all in all, the virus isn't deadly. Okay. Does it suck? Sure, but so does getting the flu. Okay. And we get variants of the flu. This isn't something new. Mutating diseases is not a new thing. But we've talked about this before, what's causing these mutations, and I've been saying this for weeks, and people ostracized me. People thought I was crazy. Even my own family kind of argued with me about it publicly on Facebook, on my personal account. Look, the vaccine, this improper vaccine is contributing to not only mutations of the virus, because the vaccine is allowing the virus to stay alive, and it's allowing it to spread to other people. And in order for the vaccine to stay alive, it's got to mutate. It's got to adapt to this improper vaccine that we have. Okay? I've been saying this for a long time. This vaccine ain't going to work. It's not going to prevent people from, it's not going to stop COVID in its tracks. This virus isn't even deadly enough for us to have lockdowns over people not having the vaccine. Okay, this is getting absolutely ridiculous. There's a vaccine. If you don't want it, don't get it, and we should just move on. People who don't have the vaccine accept the risks. I myself don't have the vaccine. I accept the risk of getting COVID, and we need to move on. We need to open everything up. It's really that simple. We don't need to lock down to force everybody to get the vaccine. If you are scared of COVID, you get the vaccine, and let's move on. I don't know if your vaccine works so well. Why are you so scared of getting it? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because it's not working. The CDC has come out and said they have not been counting all the breakthrough cases. They've even admitted it. Or not all the breakthrough cases are getting reported on one end or the other. So we actually don't know how many people exactly have gotten COVID and hospitalized with COVID that have the vaccine, that are fully vaccinated, but I can tell you it's significantly more than 0 people. The media would like to tell you, is leading you to believe that most people hospitalized with COVID have not been vaccinated. That's just simply not true. Okay? It's not. The data doesn't support that. And the way that this is being taken care of, like the way that this is like going, would lead you to believe that that's not true. Because if that was true, the number of people vaccinated and the number of people who've gotten COVID, we should be reaching a point to where the cases should be virtually 0 if the vaccinated people weren't able to get COVID. But they've come out and said that vaccinated people need to wear masks and they can still spread COVID. I've been saying for weeks that this vaccine isn't working. The data doesn't show that it's working. I said it on this show, I said it on this podcast. I even showed videos of doctors talking about how this vaccine won't work, and yada, yada, yada. And the vaccine is actually contributing. The people were trying to say that unvaccinated people were contributing to the Delta variant. And I have a podcast titled, "The Vaccinated People Are Contributing to the Delta Variant." So check out that episode. I show a lot of data. We talk about it quite a bit. Okay? This isn't, look, this isn't some like, there's gotta be something fishy going on at this point. Okay? This isn't about our safety anymore. This is about like some sort of like woke, like control. I don't know if it's like political control. There's for sure power grabs going on right now. There's for sure people trying to gain power from, passing laws because in the wake of COVID. It's true. It's happening. We see it. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's happening. However, look, I want to know who is actually for lockdowns. I live in California, yes, a pretty liberal state. However, I live in Southern Orange County, and where I live in particular, not so liberal. You will not see the very many Biden flags. In fact, we had a Trump, rally in our main part of town right here, which is right next to where I live. I don't know very many people are actually saying we should lock down. Look, when COVID first hit in March of 2020, I was, hey, let's stay home. let's lock it down. 2 weeks. I was like, had a bad attitude about it, but I was like, look, it makes sense. Let's just close down, figure out what's going on. This might be, pretty deadly disease that's going around. And I was like, kind of like, all right, I was more worried about, I wasn't really worried about myself getting sick. I was more worried about protecting my family from the possible like collapse of like normal social society around us, because the grocery stores went crazy. There's a lot of people where I live. You never know what could happen. I was more worried about that. I wasn't like scared of it, but I was more concerned about that. I wasn't really concerned about myself getting sick. But as time went on, we realized that this virus just isn't deadly. We just like the data shows that like you get sick, you get over it. Like I know people who've listened to this have had COVID. I might have had it last year when I drove from California to Texas and back several times during this pandemic. I don't really wear masks anywhere I go. I might have gotten COVID because there was one particular like 5 days, and when I was in Texas that I kind of felt like garbage. All my friends at this point already had COVID. All my friends described their symptoms to me. Some of my friends got really sick. I personally just felt like a train hit me, but I never had a fever, and I didn't really have a cough. However, I don't know if those are mandatory for you necessarily. Say you've had COVID, because I know people who've tested positive for COVID and they've shown exactly 0 symptom. Okay. But I want to meet the person. I want somebody who is not a government official, like a citizen, who's actually for the lockdowns. Based on what I see on Facebook, there are some people, or Facebook and all social media in general, the news, there are people who are citizens who say we need a lockdown. Yet I still see them out and about with masks on. A little bit of contradicting, don't you think? Look, I can't make a clip from this. I can't make a clip from this podcast and put it on YouTube, I don't think, because I will for sure get shadow banned again, or I will get banned or something, because I'm coming out against the woke narrative, coming against the left-leaning narrative. But look, that's just it. It's political at this point. There's no logic and there's no science behind it. I want to meet the person who's actually for lockdowns. If you're actually for lockdowns and you're just putting your nose in whatever person you voted for's butt and you're following them around, you're just a sheep. You're just a sheep. I want to meet the person who's actually pro-lockdown. I want to meet a normal citizen who gets up, goes to work every day, has kids, has bills to pay. I want to meet that person who's pro-lockdown. It's August 2021. This whole thing started in March 2020. We're over a year and a half into this, and they're still talking about bringing up lockdowns. New Zealand just went into lockdown. I just don't get it. People, this isn't that deadly of a disease. It's not polio. It's not even measles or the mumps. It's not smallpox. Literally just a pretty bad cold or a mild flu. Some people get hospitalized, sure. People get hospitalized with other sicknesses all the time. I got hospitalized several times from drinking alcohol. And no, it wasn't a lot of alcohol. Turns out I have an alcohol intolerance. Okay? I didn't like go out binge drinking and get, alcohol poisoning. I would apparently have a alcohol intolerance or an alcohol allergy, and I've been hospitalized with alcohol. Things affect people differently. But what we have figured out is this virus just isn't that deadly. So I want to meet the person who's actually pro-lockdown. Because if you're just listening to what your politician or the person you voted for, whatever they said, you're a sheep. And you're kind of ruining it for the rest of us. You're taking away experiences that people may only get once in a lifetime. What do I mean by that? Take a senior in high school who's trying to do, who may be the first person in his family to graduate high school on time. Or maybe take like a young athlete going into college. I play football and I see this all the time. This whole COVID thing is ruining the experience for a lot of these athletes that they're only going to get once. And we are getting threatened to get locked down again, our football program. Football players are in the lowest risk category, most of us, to get COVID. We're all healthy, we're all in shape. We usually eat right, or at least we are told to eat right. We have guidance to eat right. It's just not that, it just is no logic. You're pro lockdowns, you're pro closing things down, you are a sheep. You don't actually do anything to learn for yourself. You don't actually have the whole wellness for people in mind. You're selfish. Look, a lot of these athletes, I'm just going to go from experience here. A lot of these athletes, if they don't have football, they don't have basketball, they don't have water polo. Look, a lot of these at my school, I'll just talk about first, my direct experience. A lot of these athletes are in from out of state. Washington, Oregon, New York, Texas, Florida. They're in Southern California right now trying to grind to play football because that is, their ticket out of wherever they're from. It is their life. It is how they're going to get their education paid for. And the opportunities are going to slowly slip, and everybody feels like they're walking on eggshells. And it's so stressful for some of these athletes because we've already had one whole season canceled. And now there's 2 recruiting classes on top of each other, so our team is gigantic. We have hundreds of dudes on the team trying to fight for, 22 starting spots. When in reality, it shouldn't be that way. Some of these dudes should already have either graduated or move on to D1 schools. The D1 athletes that are at the bigger schools should have already finished and moved on to the pros or moved on to life. And it's creating this huge backup in the system that is just, it's tough. A lot of these athletes, when we're not in sports, get depressed. Look, I'm not saying that football's saving them, but kind of. Not just depressed because they don't have football, but because they put everything out there. They put their, they left home. They put all their eggs in this basket for it to be taken away from someone who we've never even met. Someone we've never met closing down our athletic program just because they're scared of some dudes getting the sniffles. We play the most dangerous sport on campus. We bash our heads in running full speed. Dudes break ankles. I dislocated my thumb. My thumb was literally completely at a 90-degree angle. Or not quite 90, but you know what I mean. It was completely crooked. They had to pop back in place. We have dudes blowing out knees, breaking bones, getting concussions. But they're worried about us getting the sniffles, so they're going to close us down. We are literally doing things that don't even make sense just to look good. So the president of the school or whatever, who we've never met, he's not an athlete. He was probably a nerd that got bullied in high school, and he just doesn't want athletes to play. Look, I know I'm sounding a little bitter right now, but I think a lot of us have the right to be angry. I'm not really a bitter person, but I do get frustrated with the lack of logic and just stupidity. And this is just stupid. So if you're pro lockdowns, please comment. Explain to me. Explain yourself. I want to meet the person who works, like I said, I want to meet the person who's 9 to 5, working 9 to 5, has kids, bills. I want to meet that person who's pro lockdown. And if you are that person who's pro lockdown, you're just a sheep. You're so worried about everybody getting COVID. Why don't you stay home? Lead by example. I don't want to see you out with a mask on. If you're that worried, if you really think we should lock down, I don't think you should. Then order Uber Eats, get your groceries delivered, start a garden in your backyard, dig a well. I better not see your face in public. It's maddening. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. Look, I don't like to be an angry person. I don't like to be a bitter person, but at some point, enough's enough. The more I'm tired of feeling like any day now, my livelihood can just be ripped out from underneath me because some government official I've never met decided that we can't do anything. Meanwhile, that person will get to sit in their high castle and still get paid. If our government forces us to shut down, they should lose their paycheck. I bet instantaneously the way we're governed right now will change. If the government says we can't work and the politicians can't get paid while they tell us that we can't work and that things should be shut down and locked down at home, I bet their stance on things will change real quick. This isn't a conspiracy. This is all true. This is all like, it is what it is. We see it all the time. Look, I appreciate you guys listening to me vent. I kind of thought I was going to spin this more positively, but the more I talk about it, the more frustrated I get. So I'm just going to go ahead and wrap up the show before I blow a gasket. I get to play football today. I get to play football almost every day, and I'm grateful for that. And I hope people realize that you don't take things for granted, because apparently our livelihood can be stripped away from us at any moment without any warning from people who we've never even met. So be grateful today. I'm going to be grateful today. Have a good day, y'all. Happy Friday Eve. I want to see you guys here tomorrow. And listen, let's pick a random track. If you guys, you hear this music playing, I know y'all do. I know you're kind of liking it. I know you're kind of vibing to it. If you want to use this song or any of these songs that I use on the show for your podcast, for your live streams, your live shows, your live this or video that, make sure you go to Spotify, go to Streamables, and you can use any of these songs for any live, like video game streaming, whatever you want to use them for. Use them. On YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, use them. Streamables, Spotify. It's my buddy of mine who makes the music from the ground up, hires people to make all these professional beats and tracks and whatever for you to use during the live shows. It's copyright free, so go use them. Just make sure you go follow Streamables on Spotify, and it's gonna be in the YouTube studio soon. He's working on it, so be on the lookout for that. All right, guys. Hopefully we'll have an episode tomorrow. I'm planning on it, and if not, we'll have one on I don't know, later this week. I might not see y'all until Monday, but I think I'm gonna have an episode tomorrow. So hey, guys. Y'all have a good freaking day. I will catch y'all on the next one. It might be Monday, it might be tomorrow. We'll see. You'll know it when I tell you. All right, guys. Have a good day. Be grateful today. Deuce. Hook 'em.